government after the appointments and the partying at Downing Street that we saw under the last Conservative government.
And did Jeremy Hunt really expose Rachel Reeves of genuine cronyism? Now, this happened on Tuesday the 3rd of September 2024 during Topicals for the Treasury, where our grinning Jeremy Hunt asked this question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When the Chancellor was sitting on this side of the House, she repeatedly attacked cronyism. So can she tell the House whether she told the Treasury Permanent Secretary that Ian Caulfield had made a donation to her before she got him appointed as a director in the Treasury? Yes or no?
Yes. All governments appoint people to the civil service. The donation from Ian Caulfield was declared over a year ago in the proper way, and we answered all the questions in the right way that the civil service asked when we made that appointment. Ian Caulfield is supporting this government in hosting the International Investment Summit, which is going to bring hundreds of global investors to the UK next month.
I think that means the answer is no. And the Ministerial Code states that ministers must ensure that no conflict arises or could reasonably be perceived to arise between their public duties and their private interests, financial or otherwise. That did not happen. So will she tell the House why is cronyism wrong under the Conservatives but acceptable under Labour?
I think they've got a bit of brass neck criticising this government after the appointments and the partying at Downing Street that we saw under the last Conservative government, and billions of pounds of contracts handed out to friends and donors of the Conservative Party. That's why this government are appointing a COVID corruption commissioner to get that money back from taxpayers, because unlike the last government, we are determined that taxpayers' money is treated with respect and not handed out to donors of the party.
I found this interaction between the two fascinating for a number of reasons. Firstly, after 14 years of Tory cronyism and shenanigans that went on, for me, he seems to think he's got a bit of a zinger. Now, don't get me wrong, I thought her answer was a bit shady. But the amount of money she received from this guy, I'm not surprised. It blows all Tories what they received from donors out of the sky. It's cronyism at its worth. Hold on to your hearts, hold on to your seats, as I'm going to tell you how much she got. She received £5,000. Seriously, though, it's not a good look either way, is it? But these things happen, unfortunately, don't they? But I love the way he whips out the ministerial code and reads it out loud with not an ounce of irony. Especially after what happened with COVID contracts for mates and many other dodgy scandals with dodgy donors over the last 14 years. Then seems to get annoyed when she just mentioned the parties in Downing Street, the billions of pounds worth of contracts handed to friends and donors, and I'm surprised she didn't mention the £22 billion black hole as well. I think he would have exploded if she had. But for me, and I could be so wide of the mark on this, and if I am, let me know down below. They really seem to be struggling being in opposition. Whenever they think they've got something on the government, all this government have to say is basically just sit down, shut up, you've no room to talk, and they lose it, don't they? Now, I read an interesting article about this sort of tactic, saying it'll bide them time, but then there'll come a point where they'll have to deliver because this tactic has limited time frame, done it. But what do you guys think? Am I right? Also, how long do you think they'll get away with this tactic before it starts to sound hollow? Let me know down below, and I shall bid you farewell and take care, my friends.